about skateboarding, but you're just not very good at jumping up and down on your favorite piece of wood. Grab skateboarding, grab skateboarding podcast.
Redneck and hillbilly strolling along country lane talking about the Garden of Eden. The redneck drinking whiskey as he walks believes that Adam and Eve had every right to take that apple. For if God were kind, why would he forbid them from partaking of that delicious fruit? Whereupon God smites the redneck dead. Hillbilly, forever silent and diligent, digs the redneck's grave, fashions a humble tombstone from the empty barrel, and walks on. That eve, he witnesses the most beautiful sunset ever foremade.
Hello and welcome to the Kraut Skateboarding Podcast, a weekly dive into skateboarding for the average skater, hosted by myself, James.
And me, Jack.
In this podcast, two distinctly average skaters chat to skaters all around the UK who represent a huge range of different aspects of our chosen sport, from the weird and wonderful to the truly talented.
Each week, we will be discussing a range of exciting topics regarding skateboarding in these uncertain times.
And this week, Jack, our topic is...
Drum roll, please.
Chatting skateboarding over a pint of tea.
Do you want to hear a secret? That was not very loud because Lamorne is in bed. That was pretend loud.
Oh, that's impressive. That was certainly sounding loud enough in my headphones.
Yeah, seriously. And we are joined today by a skateboarder, an artist, a tea enthusiast, and a lovely man, Jason Hillbilly Cheverall. Hello, Jason.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on board, mate. Good to chat to you.
Jason, would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your relationship with skateboarding?
Here we go. I got back into it about 4 or 5 years ago, back into skateboarding. Absolutely love it, really do. Not just the skateboard, but the whole community, the family feeling. It's the best thing I've done, really is. I'm so glad I got back into it. So my game is to give back as much as it's given me, if you get what I mean, through my art or helping organise things. So, and then drinking the tea in the meantime to keep me fueled to be able to do all of this is just a bonus.
Absolutely. So you say you got back into it 4 or 5 years ago. So you kind of preceded the resurgence of it by a good few years. Like most people seem to have got back into it these last couple of years, but you got back into it during a time when maybe a lot of people were dipping out of it. When did you originally start skating, can I ask?
Blimey. I would have said I was, about 12, let's say that. And then I got out of it when I was about 18, I would have said, when I got more into motorbikes, drinking, just sort of growing up. And I didn't, to be fair, I didn't like the way it was going. I started to find it all a little bit cliquey. So, I just moved on. As I say, growing up, when you're 18, you feel like you're an adult. So the last thing you want to be doing is going past the local shops on a skateboard when you could be going past on the back wheel of your motorbike, showing off to everybody at the chip shop. So, yeah. And then it was, my boy got into scooters and I ended up taking him to all the parks I knew of in Essex so that he could scooter, and I would be just sitting there watching him. And then I was just like thinking, right, I'm going to get another board and have another crack at it. And yeah, it just aspired from there.
It's true, isn't it? I think the older you get, the harder you work. I sometimes find as well, like, actually these hobbies like skateboarding just means so much more to me, because I just need it that much more, you know.
Yeah.
When you've got so much else on your mind and you've got so many responsibilities and things to do, the world expects of you, and you've got to provide. And actually, skateboarding is something that's, you know, that's for me. Skateboarding exists, and it is there for you, and, you know, for body, mind, soul, all the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because as much as it's great to meet people, do all the other bits and bobs, it's great for the mind, you know. There was, over lockdown, when we were really locked down and I couldn't see all my friends and bits and bobs, I'd quite often after dinner in the evenings just jump on my cruiser and go around the block, good tunes on, and just bomb around the block, you know. And yeah, I sometimes, if I don't skate for a while, I can feel myself like, I need to skate, you know, mentally as well as my body going, come on, you're getting fat, old man, let's get back on the board.
But it's hard to quantify what that is, isn't it? It's hard to quantify. I wouldn't say it's an addiction, because you can go quite a while without doing it, but there's always, and it grows, that little bit that grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, and you can't say what it is, what actually it is that's causing it, but you feel the need to go for a skate more and more and more and more as time progresses. And like, as somebody who has had a period of time where I wasn't skating very much, even when I wasn't skating, it was always there at the back of my head.
Yeah.
You know, I might not skate in a year, but I'd be walking past a set of stairs with concrete block and being like, oh, wouldn't it be great to session that? And
when you can't do it, I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but you have to like substitute it with other things that you try and fill that void. So like when I'm not skateboarding, like if it's wet and I just can't do it and can't get to an indoor park or whatever, and I've got that hankering, then I'm watching movies, or I'm like reading about skateboarding, or like you said, it might be your art, or it might be playing a video game which has skateboarding in it. But I was like, I have to skate when I'm not skating, if that's what I'm in the mood for.
Definitely.
Yeah, I have to do this.
yeah. But no, I do watch a lot of YouTube clips and bits and bobs. So and do the art. That was a major help getting me through lockdown. Was draw. You know, if I couldn't skate, I was pretty blessed because we've got the ramp in the back garden. So yeah. I mean, I'm still no better on that either.
This the tea beggars ramp, is that right?
Yeah. It was, donated to me from a really good friend of mine, Luke. It was his ramp, and it was sitting in the barn not being used, and he was like, "Guys, you have it," you know. So yeah, he helped me set it up. We put it in the back garden, and it's the funny thing is before the lockdown, we used to have tea beggar sessions. The lads would come over, the tea would be flowing, we'd all be laughing and skating the ramp. So,
oh, living the dream! What a thing to inherit.
What's the tea beggars? I feel like we should get that in early because it's going to come up a lot. Tell us about tea beggars. What is it?
Tea beggars is a group of, started off as a group of skaters that used to meet regular, and we've all become really good friends. We just love to skate and drink tea, and the most important thing, have a giggle. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, and it's just escalated from there. It really has. We're more like a little family now. I love them all, you know. So yeah, they're a good bunch of people. There's always a giggle, always a giggle. There's no seriousness to it whatsoever. So we've got a little group chats. We arrange meets here and there. Obviously not so much since the lockdown, but even over lockdown, we was always checking on each other, and your friends get you through, don't they? So yeah, it all started off, as I say, there was 4 of us. We started hanging out, and the name Tea Beggars, we was chatting about it, is we'd end up sort of like one day, if we weren't skating, we'd still sort of text each other, oh, can I come round for a cup of tea? So we'd come round begging for tea tea beggars, and that's how it comes
Oh, I
around.
love it. Oh, okay, less vulgar than I was anticipating. Which is
Yeah, man,
very
that says a lot about me too.
Yeah, it's all about the tea. So
I
yeah,
mean, you know, each to their own. I was fine with it. But
I absolutely love the concept of tea and escape. Tea and escape. That's just so lovely, isn't it? Just that 1-2 combination, right there.
so
Yeah.
English, right?
yeah,
coming from the southwest, it's quite often, certainly with Jack's backyard crap skaters mini ramp, it's quite often a cider and a skate, which, considering the state of the mini ramp, is quite dangerous. So maybe we should revert to tea just to keep just to keep ourselves a little bit safer.
Oh, James, you wouldn't bloody step on it right now, mate. There's like a 3-foot bit you can skate now, like a line down, without there being like a hole to dodge, and even that's a bit
Wow.
ropey. I'm having it resurfaced. It's as in I've asked the neighbour to do it, and we're just exploring options. Like,
It's
good,
not
but it
cheap,
can't
is
be
it?
too dear. It's not cheap. This is the problem. Is, you know, it's kind of a long term. It's like, would I rather pay more so that it lasts longer, or would
Yeah.
I rather layer over with thinner ply and like some weatherproof like material to kind of, and fill in the gaps to kind of make it really good for like the summer and possibly next summer? And it's like, of
Jack.
course you'd be like, I'd rather just make it solid forever, but unless you've got like that much money to just do that, the cheap option may be the option, even though it's just a money sink in a way.
yeah.
It means we can skate it this summer, right?
It's the Captain Vimes School of Economics and the cheap boots. Do you know that one?
No,
Nice.
go on, nerd on me, James.
The Captain Vimes School of Economics from Toe Practice Discworld from the watch is that Captain Vimes would constantly buy $12 boots, and every sort of 6 weeks the leather would wear thin and you have to buy another set of boots. And by the end of the year, he spent twice as much as the guy who bought the expensive set of boots. The approach to the mini ramp, I see completely understandable. It's very
I'm with
cost
you. Like,
effective. The point I was trying to do a little Discworld joke I thought you'd get, but evidently that,
I'm sorry, man. But
Whoosh.
you know what? Like,
Right.
I'm totally with you, because like if I could just chuck like 800 quid down to have it like completely robustly, you know,
Yeah.
but you know, there's probably not, with like a kid and another kid on the way, I probably can't justify that, but I can justify a couple of £100 to strengthen it in a more temporary way with a bit thinner. Do you know what I mean? So it will be good enough
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a year or two, you know. So that's probably
Jason,
what I'll do,
is-
because I want to use it.
Is yours a mini ramp? Is your skate light? What's your ramp like?
We had some really like thin ply on it, like you'd have on the back of cupboards, like that sort of chipboard sort. And it was good to start with, but every time it got really wet, we'd have to pull it up and relayer it. So I bit the bullet and bought some really good quality wood off of a local ramp builder, and it cost me about 200 quid just for the very top ply. It's lasted quite a while, and we've had so much enjoyment. I've had the money's worth out of it. But fingers crossed, hopefully this year we're going to build a new one. So, because it's getting a bit tired now. Because as I say, it was originally a ramp that we could pull to bits, but we made it more fixed as such on a frame. It's done us well. We've had some right giggles.
Worst slam on the ramp. Tell us about it. What's your any examples? Worst slam on the ramp.
Do you know what? Like, I've got to really embarrass myself here. My worst slam on the ramp was trying to get back up on the platform, just running at it. I slipped, smashed my shin on the coping, slipped my arm down the side of the ramp, grazed all my arm up, hit my chin on the ramp. Yeah, it weren't even like a good trick or I dropped in or anything. You know, it was just me being old and silly and overexcited. I just landed a trick, wanted to run back up and have another go, and yeah.
It's really hard to get yourself into the mentality that if you land on the board and you land your trick, you are going to hurt yourself less than if you commit to a bail, you know? Like, so, and I'm the same. Like, I went to do a lip slide recently and kicked out above the rail, which was a stupid thing to do, because if I kick out above the rail, I am either going to trip over it or nut myself, one or the other.
Yeah.
if I at least commit to the
Please tell me you nutted
trick,
yourself.
going to prison. No,
Oh.
luckily I was just tall enough to not, so it got about that close.
James, in a few years' time on the same rail, you won't be so lucky.
You know.
That's true.
And it hurt 3 times as more with age as well.
Oh God, yeah.
Right, Jason, you were talking about like drawing skateboard designs and things like that, and I probably, so this is an incomplete list, right? But I was looking at some of the companies you've worked with, UK skateboarding companies, and you've got an impressive repertoire of people that you've worked with, right? So here's a few things, and we can pull them apart a bit if you want to talk about them, or we don't have to. But Lolly Skateboards, right? The Lords of the Swords contest. I want to come back to that because I didn't know what this is. James, you might not know that. This looks amazing. It looks a bit, it's like English King of the Road. So we'll come back to that in a minute. And you've mentioned, I don't know if you've worked with them, but I know that I've seen you like doing designs on like shaped boards by Big Eye Skateboards, who are like a skateboard. They actually manufacture and shape boards and things like that. Can you tell, is there any, like, in terms of you working with skateboard companies, do you want to talk about that? Is there any work you've done for UK brands that you're particularly proud of? Because it seems like you're like a really accomplished guy in the UK community, especially with these DIY brands.
I'm just proud and stoked, you know, when a company says, oh, would you mind designing something? I'm like, well, you know, being an artist, you're your own worst critic. I'm terrible. I pick my work to bits. So when someone says, oh, would you mind doing a design for us? I'm like super honoured, you know. And I've done, who else have I done for? I've done for Monkey Glove, which is a local famous photographer for skateboarding. I've done a little sticker just from the tea beggar's point of view saying thank you to the DIY community, because I love a DIY spot. And I actually contacted Nick at Def Skateboards and said, would you mind if I ripped Def on the design? And he was like, yeah, go for it. I love the idea.
Awesome.
And then the same with Stuart at Love and Skate. I messaged him and said, look, this is my sticker idea. Would you mind if I put the company in? He's like, dude, I love it. Go for it. So that was a real proud moment, because I love Def Skateboards. I really do. I love their stuff, and I love Love and Skate as well. So just to have the nod from them to say, yeah, that's cool, go with it, I was like, wow, you know. As well as doing the books for Tony and doing T-shirts for people as well, like seeing my designs go on T-shirts. It's quite, I'm quite flattered. There you go.
Yeah, but you must make an impression with people, right? Because people seek you out, people ask you, you know, commission you to design stuff for them. So, I mean, your art's wonderful. Like, it's really
resonating, isn't it?
Yeah, this whole aesthetic of it, it's really like that. To me, it's like the English Dogtown look. You know what I mean? It's like that, but so English. But it's that real kind of like raw line art, bold designs. It's just, you know, makes a good sticker to slap on something. You know, it's and also like that death thing you said, like messaging death. You know, we've spoken about it a lot, but like Death are a great company, and I think part of it is when you talk about the community behind skateboarding.
Yeah,
it's Death we think of as being like, as English skateboarders, we think, oh, Death are huge, they're massive. Yeah. But actually, it's just some dudes who love skateboarding selling boards, right? Like they've just done really well out of it because they've engaged the community so well.
Yeah, totally. And their products are all, if I see a kid down the skate park and they say like their board's thrashed or the wheels are knackered, and they go, oh, can you recommend something, Hillbilly? I know straight away I go for Def or Love and Skate, because they're both cheap, but they're both amazing brands. I've skated loads of Def decks and they've always done me well, you know, so.
They're robust too, man. I had one when I was about 15, and similar to the family of UK skateboarders, we're part of another group we spoke about, the UK Skateboarding Collective, and they're always collecting decks to give to people who want to start up and, you know, don't have the money to get something. And I'm 30 now, and I had this deck from when I was 15, totally fine deck. It's just a 775, and I now ride an 85 because I'm a lot bigger. So I just passed it on, and I've snapped so many decks in that time. But that's survived half my life at this point, you know.
Wow.
And now you've done the artwork for Tony's book, which is on the Death website. So your artwork's being sold through the Death website as well.
I took a photo of that. I took a screenshot of it because I was that proud. I was like, yeah, you know. So,
I mean, you gotta be proud. I mean, think about the number of British skaters, not even British, but number of skaters who are visiting that website and seeing your work on there. Like, that's amazing.
I know it still hasn't really sort of sunk in. When Tony said to me like his book's being sold in America, I sat down and I was like, but that means my artwork's in America, and I just couldn't register it for a while. And then I was talking to someone the other day who didn't know me, and I mentioned it, and then it hit me. It was like, my artwork's in America, you know.
You've gone global.
Someone get me a cup of tea. I need to sit down.
But it could go anywhere. Like, it's so relatable. There's one of the pictures. So in Procrastinate, we've done a whole episode about that book and about the poems and all these common experiences we share as skateboarders. But there's one picture you've done. I'll put this picture up with the episode, just so I can mention it quickly. And it's just a really little one, right? It's just a picture of a really fucked up foot crying. Right?
Oh yeah.
And like my ankle, because of James, my ankle is.
I can't even deny that. Like that's yeah, straight up, yeah.
Is just messed up, and like after any session, that's how my ankle feels for a good couple of hours. And I saw that, and I just thought, oh God, you know, that's it. Like, I feel bad for my ankle. That picture is just how my ankle feels after any skate now.
And don't you think it's strange that we go back and do it again the following week? You've heard
we're
yourself.
masochists.
Yeah,
Insane.
Exactly. I mean, most normal people would be like, you know, you fall over, you hurt yourself. Oh, I ain't going to do that again. Or if they fall off of a curb, I'm going to be more careful on a curb. We know when we step back on that board that could possibly happen again, and we love it. And I just think sometimes we're mad.
Yeah, man.
We're physically and mentally broken. Like,
do you know what? If like Darwinism was still like so prevalent, we would be the first out of the gene pool as a group of people. Like, skateboarders would just be like, yeah, that would be gone.
I think we had the discussion fairly recently. Well, I don't know if it was on the podcast, if it was with Rowan or Tom or within the skate crew. But most people go through their lives, maybe not their children, most people go through their adult lives never falling and not knowing what it is to fall. And it's we're kind of trained to be so averse to falling that most people don't actually ever experience it. But as skaters, we fall all the time. And actually, we know that for the most part, it's generally not that bad. You know, most of the time.
Yeah.
Until it is. But,
Yeah.
but for the most part, we're those select few people that actually are kind of trained to. We've kind of trained ourselves to fall, haven't we? Really.
Yeah.
And also just to be like cool with it, because like you said, like it's normally fine. Not fine like it doesn't hurt, because sometimes it sucks. But like pain is temporary, and I think pain is such a scary concept for people, but when you fall a certain amount of times, you realize, like, yeah, okay, it's gonna suck, but I'll survive that. You know, it'll
and
be
I'll get
right.
electric next time.
Yeah, and I think skaters, and outside of skateboarding, skaters are really resilient people because they are so used to literally falling and going again. You know, I think that resilience plays off into other parts of other people's lives.
Right, this is fine, and it sounds like an advantage, but at the end of the day, if we were being chased by predators, so again, Darwinism still at large, that's how we reproduce, and there's us with our dodgy ankles and like shattered pelvises and like your backs, we're getting caught. All of us.
Well, I'm 47 and I still smoke and I haven't got the best diet, so you two will be all right for a little while because I'll be the first to go. So find the tree, hide the tree.
So yeah, one of your designs, right? I think was it a T-shirt or I can't remember, but it was for a contest called Lords of the Swords, which was the biggest it was the biggest adventure skateboarding competition in the UK. So then I had to go on a Google and look up adventure skateboarding because I thought I'm out of the loop, and it came up with King of the Road. Yeah, so it's basically King of the Road is adventure skateboarding. It's that like setting challenges and going to different places and trying to get as much footage and complete challenges as you can. And that's what it is. It's exactly that. It's just this massive UK contest. They go all around the country setting challenges, getting tricks, making edits, and then they all have to meet at a final point and give out awards. And it looks massive, the amount of people involved. How did you come to know about that, Jace? Tell us about your experience of that.
It is a truly amazing thing to be at, especially like when they all meet up. I've never entered it. I was actually a challenge in it one year. They had to come and find me at a skate park and bring me a cup of tea.
Oh, amazing.
So, yeah. No, it's that like the starting point when they meet on a day, that the atmosphere is unbelievable, and like the brotherhood, if you get what I mean. Even though the people on different teams, they're all skaters at the end of the day, you know. So yeah, my friend Luke runs that, and full credit to him. He puts his heart and soul into it. He really does, because he loves skateboarding. You know, he's skateboarding mad as well. So yeah, it's a really lovely thing. If people want to get involved. It's every year, and you get to meet more people. You get to go to look for different skate parks. So it's all win-win-win as such. And then if you do win at the end, then you could get a prize. So why not enter it, you know?
James, crap skateboarding team?
Go for it. Go for it.
We'll come back broken, battered, but Jason will have some teas. It's all
well,
good.
So yeah, it's all different ages as well. So and, yeah, it's more about just getting involved and having fun and skateboarding. It's you know, there's different categories and bits and bobs. Some of the challenges are not even skateboarding; they're completely different things. So there's food challenges and other bits and bobs. So yeah, you get like a book like on King of the Road full of all the different challenges, and then you can go for them. So if you can't do one, don't worry about it. Move on to another challenge that you can do. Film it, and then do your edit at the end, and happy days.
We interviewed recently Francis Rondo, who's the he runs a skate company called Was That Switch, another independent company, and they're taking a trip down to Newquay next week. So by the time this airs, they'll have done the trip. The edit might be out, and they're making an edit, and they're doing the same. They're taking community challenges
brilliant,
to complete while they're in Newquay, and they want kind of like Cornish themed challenges. So of course I dived on that. I hope my suggestions get in. I've suggested best trick eating a pasty, best trick swigging a rattler, game of skate against the local.
They'll lose.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh man, that's not a dig on them. The Cornish kids are talented, man. Like Cornwall skaters are so good.
Yeah, man, it's got a great scene, and it's one of those quite reckless scenes, I think, too. It's like super crusty.
There's a bunch of surfers that are bored, that's why.
Yeah. So I've seen like some of your designs and stuff on like lots of different boards, things like that. Do you have any influences in terms when it comes to design and making boards and things? Do you have any influences that can be like visual or just through skateboarding, or what influences you when you are being creative?
I don't know, really. I like Jim Phillips' style of work, because that crosses over to hot rods, and I used to love hot rods. I was car mad, you know. I used to build cars and motorbikes, so that sort of crosses over there. I love all types of music, but I do love rock, so the skulls and bits and bobs like that, and also tattooing. I've done a little bit of tattooing years ago as well. So and it's just generally if someone says, "Oh, I want a design done," and I'll go, "Well, just give me some loose ideas," and 9 times out of 10 they do. They give me like a couple of little pointers. "Oh, I want specifically this in or this in," and then I just go for it. I let the mind take over, and whatever comes up. So yeah.
Do you know, man? You said about like the Jim Phillips and hot rod artwork, which is kind of one of the same. And now you've said that, some of your skull designs, the skulls drinking tea, things like that. It just suddenly, I'm getting that hot rod Jim Phillips vibe is running so strong. James and I were recently talking. I say it was probably a couple of months ago, James. Do you remember? And we were talking about what are the kind of the most famous like images in skateboarding, in terms of like Logan's design. And the two that we came up, well, this is it. So the two we came up with is like, it was the Ripper from Bones Brigade, which is something, another thing. But then the Screaming Hand, the Santa Cruz Jim Phillips Screaming Hand, and it's just, I love that just something so simple can be synonymous with a whole culture. It's amazing.
There's another one that sort of pumps into my head. It's the little green monster on the knife. Little green monster riding a bloody knife. That just
Slasher
in my mind. Slasher, that's the one. Yeah, absolutely iconic.
Yeah, it's a brilliant. When you said the Ripper to this day is still one of my all-time favourite pictures, graphics. I think the first Santa Cruz graphic I remember was, is it Corey O'Brien's Reaper with the hand? Another skull one, and the Roscott face as well. So
that's the one where he's holding like a flame ball, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. I still don't own one of them, which is quite strange.
I bet they go for loads. What's your have you got any particular pieces that you're super proud of, or pieces that you're really happy with, or that you really like? Obviously, everything that you've done, you'll be proud of and happy with to a certain degree, but is there any that really stand out?
The first is when Tony asked me to do the books. It was such an honour. I was like, and the pressure was really on, because I wanted to do him proud, So the books, and that was good because I done the first design for him as a rough idea, what I thought was a rough idea, and I was totally blown away because he was like, "No, that's perfect," and I'm like, "But it's rough," and he's like, "No, just that is perfect," and that meant a lot to me, just something. As I say, I'm the world's worst critic. I'm always criticising my work. The other one I'm super proud of is over lockdown, I done a design for basically thanking the NHS for all their hard work when the lockdown was on. And again, Tony stepped in and he said, "That's brilliant, mate. That should be a sticker." And I was like, "All right." And I added folks to it, and it ended up becoming a folk sticker. And I can't remember who made the stickers, and I do apologise to them, but they made a load of stickers and we sold them, and we sent the money to an NHS charity for the nurses, up and coming nurses.
Yeah. And also, you're pre-thanking them for when you inevitably stack it again.
yeah. As they wheeled me into the hospital, I hold my board. "Look, guys, look."
That's so. We all get our money. Well, we all get our tax money's worth, don't we, as skateboarders? Any deficit, we're probably responsible for it, really. You seem really community-minded, man. Like, because even that's it's all about that community as a country in terms of the NHS and supporting each other, and like that seems to feed into all your stuff about skateboarding. Is like the importance of community and the importance of looking out for each other. It's really refreshing, man. It's really cool to see. I can't get enough of it because I love skateboarding, but honestly, the thing I love most about skateboarding is that it's something that binds me and my friends together so well, and I meet so many cool people like this podcast, right? Like we're meeting you now, and we've got to meet so many cool people just from doing this, and I love that without even having spoken to anyone who, like you before or anyone else who's done it, immediately we're all like part of the same thing. We all have a common language, and we all have shared influences, and can look out for each other, and I relate to each other. I think that's awesome. Yeah, just powerful.
Yeah, it is. It is. I really can't thank skateboarding enough. I really can't. It's like a big family, you know.
Yeah.
I really do. I want to help as much as possible because skateboarding's helped me so much. It's helped me find friends. It's helped me have so much fun. Yeah, I just want to give back to it. So that's when I'm even more double stoked when someone says, "Oh, can you design me something?" And I'm like thinking, well, yeah, of course I will. You know, it's because it's an honour such. So yeah, no, I think that has got to be one of my major, like, because it helped people out. You know, I've done quite a few decks for I've done a couple for like events. I've done one for 2019 Chelmsford Jam, Skate Jam. That was quite an honour. A friend asked me to do that. I was stoked, and that was given away as a prize. I got asked to do Herbside, which is a local DIY spot. They had a jam as well. When I was asked to paint the deck for that, and I was like, yeah, of course I will. Super stoked to do it. So yeah, if I can help out that way as well as helping out any other way.
You know, skateboarding lives and dies on community. You know, even people being anxious about going to parks and things, that lives and dies on people's willingness to kind of be open and help each other out, and you know, just look out for each other rather than just flex muscles and be competitive. It's all about that. That's what's going to make sure skateboarding survives, I think. Yeah. You know, because I had a thought recently. We've spoken loads about the Olympics and stuff, and I've been sort of, as much as I'm conflicted, I've been singing its praises a bit in terms of it bringing people in. And then I had this horrible thought the other night, and I can't shake it, where it's because we've been chatting to someone from a local youth group who's doing sort of mobile skate parks for kids, and he's going to come on soon, so we're excited about that.
Oh, brilliant.
I was talking to this dude, and he seems really cool, and I suddenly thought my biggest issue with it that I never considered is that if skateboarding's an Olympic sport, then what's to stop really high-end like schools and academies from monopolizing it in order to churn out Olympians? And you don't want it to become like, because skateboarding its inventiveness has come from grassroots and has been built from the bottom up, and you don't want that being flipped now that it's an Olympic sport and it becoming a top-down thing. You know, I don't know, I suddenly had this like anxiety thing where I thought, I hope that doesn't happen, because I hadn't even considered that. And then suddenly I thought, if it's an Olympic sport, don't treat it like one in terms of how you make skateboarders. Don't make skateboarders make you look like you make polo players. Like, you know, just don't do that.
Well, I don't think, just sort of ease your anxiety here a little bit, Jack, I don't think this is going to become much of a problem, purely because most skateboarders still skate in the streets. Skate parks are everywhere, but skate parks are getting increasingly busy. Relatively few and far between. Not everyone has got access to them. And we're very lucky in the UK to have really high quality skate parks. But a lot of skaters skate in the streets and they skate around. And to the vast majority of the population, for the 4 weeks that the Olympics are on, great, they'll see skateboarding represented alongside other more traditional, more mainstream sports. But for the rest of the year, skaters are still those people that they're yelling at because they're skating on the curb outside their house.
You got yelled at last week, right?
Yeah. No, we got kicked out. We got booted out of a car park last week. I'm 31 years old and I got booted out of a car park for skating.
You rebel! I bet you loved it.
Oh, to feel young again.
I did. It was really perverse. I was having a really good time. Like this thing is, so I skated in Bath, and it started absolutely pissing it with rain. So we went in this undercover multi-story car park, which has got beautiful smooth banks, obviously where all the cars go up and down to different levels. And we were skating on there, and these two security cars came out. They were very nice, very polite. They said, "Sorry guys, you can't skate in here." And obviously, because we're older, we've got careers, we can't risk any trouble, we were very polite back. So we just sort of left. And then we went out to skate last week again, and in Bath, they've built this beautiful new bowl. It's stunning. It's a perfect, like, 3-foot mini with a 5-foot corner section. Is
it
the
3 foot? Is it
perfect
that? Is
sort
it
of-
like a
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
little, it's small.
beautiful?
It is the perfect kind of beginner, intermediate, chill, cruisy bowl. But they've built it right, like they didn't have planning permission to build it where they have. They had planning permission to build it further away from the children's parks. They built it right next to a sand pit. So it's still, even though it's finished and pristine, it's still completely fenced off. So we jumped the fence and went and skated it for a bit. And then the same 2 security guards from the complete opposite end of the city, half an hour later, came and booted us out, right? So with it, we barely skated for 20 minutes 2 weeks ago, and these 2 guys came and booted us out. The other end of the city, we got 20 minutes in, these 2 guys booted us out. And then we went to the other end of the city again, down to the same car park, thinking that these guys
Like that
were at
end.
the park, the other end of the city, and within 20 minutes they were there again.
Ah,
Like, I swear, these 2 security guards just spawn in Bath wherever we skate, and it's the same 2 dudes.
either that or they got twins.
Yeah, they were just waving at us like, "Hello again." And we were like,
Yeah.
Did they seem like repetitive in what they said? Like, were they holograms? Were they just saying?
What was you drinking that
Yes,
night? Yeah, definitely. I think skateboarding's got that defiantness to it, so I don't think it would ever be a problem. Like the people that want to sort of be involved with the Olympic side of things will do, but like you guys are saying, that the street skaters will always be street skaters and do what they want and go find them spots, which is good. I don't think you've got nothing to worry about. No
That's
way.
cool. And we get good parks out of it.
Yeah.
we do. How many people do you know? How many skaters would actually call themselves an athlete? Because they're not. They're sat on the side drinking a cider and smoking a joint. Like, you don't see that in like mainstream sports.
I'll have you know that when I do that, I very much consider myself an athlete. Those are supplements.
It's until the rugby pitches and the sprinting tracks start like just smelling perpetually of weed, and you know, like, it's not going to be a. It's not. They're not. The parity isn't there. As much as it's great that we do have that
Yeah.
exposure.
Totally.
Skateboarding will stay grassroots. It always will. It's just the very nature of it.
Jason, before we go, mate, favorite tea? Talk me through you're a man who loves tea. This is very un-skateboarding related potentially, but I thought we've mentioned it enough. Talk me through a good cup of tea.
It is sort of skateboarding related because it keeps me upright. It keeps me pushing, you know. So I always walk up with a cup of tea or the flask or the urn. There's always tea with me.
Do you take a flask of tea to the park?
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell
Fucking
yeah!
Oh,
awesome.
we are missing a trick.
Yeah, man.
We are absolutely missing a trick.
I've even got a friend bought me a I think it's 5 litre. It's like an urn thing. So I fill that up. If we're having a proper session or we're going on a bit of a trip, that gets filled up. It gets strapped on the back seat with a seat belt because it's like one of these skaters, so it can't be damaged. And I'll take that with me, and then I'll take disposable cups, and yeah, we have a brew up at the skate park. So
James,
no,
man, we need to do this more because we've got campers.
Zach, we take our
We take our vans.
Yeah, we take our
We
vans
need to
to the
just
park.
we have the capacity.
Literally just
to
whip out
sit
tea and
make
coffee.
tea, Yeah. What
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah.
do it.
We-
Yeah, I'll take the tea
We did this
bag,
the other day.
the sugar, the milk. As I say, this great big thing. It takes me about 3 or 4 kettlefuls to fill it up. So that gives you an idea of how big this thing
Actually,
is.
yeah.
Okay. Favorite tea
Yeah.
bag?
a keg.
Right, favourite tea is Yorkshire tea with 2 sugars and almost brown looking, if you get what I mean. Not milky or anything, nice and strong.
Real
Like a
deal.
little bit of milk,
Yeah.
but just to give it a bit of colour.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Milk of choice. Do you go for? Are you a semi-skimmed guy? Do you go whole? Do you go all in? What's your?
Semi-skimmed, yeah. The green
Nice.
top. Yeah. But like, it makes me laugh every time because I feel like a right Wally. But my specialty, my treat tea, which is normally for weekends or good, is love and skate tea. Have you ever tried that?
Okay.
Love and skate
No,
tea?
as in
I
the
didn't
company,
realise they
Love
did
and
it.
Skate, they do a
Love
tea.
and Skate skateboards do their own tea, and it's actually their own tea. They went to India, if I remember right, and picked out the Pacific tea leaves to make their tea. There you go.
Wow.
Right. Link in the description. Link in the description because this needs to blow up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, and I'm not just saying this. It is lovely, but I could drink it all the time, but I couldn't afford to. So yeah, and they've also started doing loose tea as well, where it's just like when your nan used to make it with the tea strainer, and that's really nice as well. So that's my little treat. Normally after a Saturday morning when we've been for a skate, get home, do some lunch for me and the kids, and that's when I have my special tea because I've earned it because I've had a good skate. So love and skate tea.
Mate.
I'm gonna edit. I hope you know I'm gonna edit like all of that description out, and I'm just gonna leave it with, I have my special tea, and then we'll leave it there.
The funny thing is, I'm running out of tea as well.
Polly put the kettle on. Polly put the kettle on. Polly put the kettle on. We'll all have tea. Suki, take it off again. Suki, take it off again. Suki, take it off again. They've all gone away.
Jason, man, before we go, you've been an absolute treat. This has been a right laugh. I loved it. I loved it.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I just love the ground we've covered because we've probably been quite unfocused, but I think that's great because it's just we've chatted skateboarding, we've chatted all these competitions, we've chatted a bit of your art, we've chatted your ramp. It's been a real cool mixed bag, and you're obviously a passionate dude. You love skating, and thanks for coming on, man. But is there while you're here, is there anything that you'd like to promote? Have you got any work kind of in the pipeline, anything that people can check out or support? Yeah, just really plug yourself.
Different. Well, check out my Instagram. There is some stuff on my Facebook page as well. As for future projects, I'm going to be doing a couple of designs for another little local company called, and I'll really apologise if I've pronounced this wrong, but being dyslexic, it is Noisy brand. Really nice guy called Carl Axon Eves. He runs it, so I'll be doing some designs for him in the near future, hopefully for t-shirts and stickers. Possible another, I can't say where yet, but a possible another deck to be painted for another DIY spot up London way, so that's possible in the near future as well. And then just more tea beggar stuff, and if any other little future local companies need a hand with ideas and designs, and yeah, I'll be up for it because I love doing it, love helping these companies, you know.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Awesome, man.
Also,
Really good to hear.
you've done the artwork for Tony Wood's next book, Coping Mechanism. I think pre-orders are out for that too. You did the cover, right?
Yeah, I've done the cover, and I do believe I've done the back cover as well. So yeah, that's the pre-orders are out for that. So I think that's out in June, I do believe he said to me. So another super stoked one I'm really proud of. So yeah, that one I went different. I went back to my grassroots as such. I've done that one in pencil rather than pen because I don't know if you guys have noticed, all my drawings are either pencil, paint or pens. I don't know how to do it on computers. Like, I haven't got a clue. So I'm a bit old school, you know. So I have to warn people when they say, oh, can you do me a design? I'm like, yeah, by all means, but it will be done in pen, pencil, or paint, as there's no photoshopping or anything. It is just what you see is what you get as such.
That's awesome, man. That's the hillbilly way.
Like, this is a lot of fun. I love doing this, and especially meeting people like Jason and
Yeah.
just getting to chat skateboarding with people who love skating around the UK. It's what we started, isn't it? Really, just to chat with people like you. Like it's a lot of fun, man.
It is. It's
So yeah, Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
no. Thank you guys for having me. And I hope I haven't bored you guys too much. And
Anything but.
No.
Anything but. I also now, the moment we
Right.
hang up, I'm gonna go make another cup of tea.
Good man.
Oh yeah, I'm getting a cuppa right now.
That's it. The electricity in the country is all going to go woo in a minute, where we all put our kettles on at
If you
once.
love skateboarding but you're just not very good at jumping up and down on your favorite piece of wood, grab